Okay, so today we're going to answer this question from final exam for strategic management accounting 2024 final exam, strategic management accounting, Cavendish 2024, question number 7. So the question is from break-even analysis, and the question says Ruth Limited is a small manufacturing firm company based in Kitwe, Zambia, specializing in production of single product. The company has a steady demand for the production and aims to grow its profitability. To better understand its cost structure and the plan for the future, Ruth Limited management wants to assess the break-even point and determine the number of units that must be sold to meet specific targets. The company has calculated the variable cost per unit of a production as follows. So direct material 10 kwacha, direct labor 8 kwacha, direct variable overheads 4 kwacha, fixed cost 2 kwacha. The product is sold at 30 kwacha per unit, and the company fixed cost amounts to 72,000 kwacha per annum. Ruth Limited management is forecast to understand its break-even point, how changes in production will affect profitability, and the sales required to achieve the target profit of 50,000 kwacha required. Calculate the break-even point in units. Determine the cost contribution sales ratio. Calculate the break-even point in sales value. The last one is determine the number of units that needs to be produced and sold to achieve the target profits of 18,000. So, if you find the question on break-even analysis in the exam, that's the simplest question. Start with that one. So, I'll give us a hint. The first thing that gives you the marks that you need is to be able to establish the variable cost per unit and be able to establish the contribution per unit. If these two are not correct, then we should say that question you get it wrong. If you're not able to come up with a variable cost per unit, correct variable cost per unit, and you're also not able to come up with a contribution per unit, correct one, then all what you're going to do will be wrong. So the first hint, so let's answer this question. The first thing you have to do when you're given a question like this one, don't go and start writing formulas on how to calculate this. No, establish one thing. They don't ask it here. Find the contribution per unit first before you do any calculation as required. Okay? Now, to find the contribution per unit, first thing, you have to have a variable cost per unit. And variable cost per unit, ladies and gentlemen, it only has 3 things. A variable cost has 3 things. Every time you're calculating variable cost, make sure that you have 3 things that you're adding. Number 1, direct material. Number 2, direct labor. Number 3, variable overheads. Most people make mistakes when they talk about variable costs. They'll come and just pick this one, 4 kwacha per unit, variable overheads. Oh, that's a variable cost per unit. Then they'll go ahead and say variable cost is 4. And then they do the calculation in computation of contribution as selling price minus variable cost. So in this case, they can just say 30 minus 4. And then they get 26. Wrong. Variable cost has got 3 things. That's a hint. So let's do the calculation. First thing, hint number 1. Hint number 1. Calculate a variable. Calculate what? Calculate calculate variable cost per unit. How do you calculate variable cost? variable cost has got three things: direct material, in this case we have 10. Direct labor, in this case we have 8. And the last one, the one which is written variable overheads. Variable overheads, which is 4 from the question. Now we add. When we add this, we get 22. This will become our variable cost. Our variable cost is 22. This is the variable cost per unit. It's 22 quarter per unit. So variable costs will consist of 3 things: direct material, direct labor, variable overhead. You add these 3, you get a variable cost. To calculate contribution, we say that the contribution is equal to selling price minus variable cost, and the selling price we are given to be 30. So let's calculate contribution per unit. Okay, that's the hint number 1. Hint number 2. Before you even answer the question, make sure you have this in place. Calculate contribution per unit. Calculate contribution per unit, which is given as selling price minus variable cost, and of course this selling price is per unit. Okay, so we get a 30 minus 22, so that we have 8. So 8 quarter per unit. That's our contribution. Contribution. Now that we have a contribution per unit, as 8 quarter per unit, we can go ahead now and answer the questions. Okay, we can go ahead and answer the question that we've been asked. We have been asked to say calculate. Okay, we've been asked to say calculate break-even point in units. 5 marks. These are 3 marks. What do? We go ahead and apply the formula for contribution for break-even point in units. So I want to be seeing this, so I'll put my question 1 here and say break-even point. Okay, break-even point in units is equal to, so break-even point is equal to fixed cost divided by contribution per unit. So that's So we calculate a fixed cost, contribution per unit, which will give us the fixed cost we have been given in the question to be the fixed cost we have been given in the question to be 72. So the fixed cost is 72,000, this one. So we're going to divide this one by the contribution per unit. We're going to say 72,000 divided by 72,000 divided by 8. What do we get? We'll get 9,000 units. So this is our break-even point. This is our break-even point in what? In units. Number 2, what do they want? Number 2, they want us to calculate contribution sales ratio. 5 marks. So we know that contribution sales ratio is given by contribution per unit divided by selling price per unit. So what we have is contribution, we found 8, divided by selling price, which is 30. What do we get? 0.26. As our answer. This is our answer. Or we can simply, that's our answer. And then the next question, what they want is the break-even point in sales value. What do we do to get a break-even point in sales value? Number 3, they want a break-even point in sales value. So they want a break-even point in value. So break-even point in value is what we do. We'll come and say fixed cost divided by CS ratio. That's what we do. So fixed cost was 72,000 divided by CS ratio was 0.266. The 6 they were ongoing. So our answer will be 270 So then that would be what?